Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is October 27th, 2025. And today we're going to be talking about the El Clasico aftermath, with including John Laporta visiting the team during the Ciudad Esportiva. Also, we do have an injury boost that you're definitely going to enjoy knowing about. And finally, Lamine Yamal and his controversial statements. More on that as more YouTubers have come out explaining what exactly happened during that Kings League program. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News Live podcast, where not only we discuss Barcelona news, but of course, we'll get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering any questions, and getting the discussion going. So stop dropping comments. Start dropping comments in the chat section so I can read them later on. Now, for those of you who'll be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline, in case you do want to skip through the discussion and get straight into the news. Having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you're looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Kickback, or Fanatics. If you're looking to place any sports bets, make sure to hit the Bet Us. All links are down below in the description. If you click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, we do have an announcement, of course. I'm pretty sure you already heard this one.
It's a pretty important announcement.
Sorry, but I really like that filter. The announcement is, of course, that I will be holding a Barcelona kit raffle for channel members only. So if you're a channel member, the post is already up in the community tab, only visible to members, on how to enter the raffle. If you're not a channel member, you would like to become one, you still have time. This raffle will be open until next Saturday. So if you become a member from here until next Saturday, you can participate in the raffle where the lucky winner will get to take home a Barcelona kit of their choosing. That means they get to choose whether it's home, away, third kit, size, color, number, name, whatever you want, you get it. Anyways, let's begin with the news, and we are going to start a little bit with bad news, but then it's going to quickly become good news. So bear with me. But the bad news is that Barca Athletic have suffered a loss, and that loss is Victor Barbera. If you don't know who Victor Barbera is, 21 years old, center forward, plays at Barca Athletic, was being very important for Giuliano Belletti in his attempt to bring back or promote Barca Athletic back from 4th to 3rd division. So far, he had scored 6 goals and provided 2 assists. In fact, he had scored 4 goals in the last 2 matches. And while the bad news is that he has suffered an injury in his right leg, he has had to undergone surgery in order to address that injury, and as such, he will now be out for approximately 4 to 5 months. So big blow for Victor Barbera, and also big blow, of course, for Giuliano Belletti, as he is losing one of his important players. So I do wish Victor Barbera a speedy recovery. Now, speaking of injuries, and this is where it goes from bad to good, from bad news to good news. Well, the good news is that, ladies and gentlemen, today, Robert Lewandowski rejoined his teammates in the group training. And of course, what does that mean? That means that he is very close to finalizing his recovery, as I've explained a million times. But in case you missed it, when you train with the group, that's one of the final steps in your recovery. You know, when you first get injured, you train by yourself in the gym. Then you start training on the pitch by yourself as well. And then the last thing is you rejoin your teammates. And today, Lewandowski was seen training with the group, which means that Lewandowski is very close to coming back. Now, as I reported in the last podcast, as you guys might recall, Lewandowski had actually surprised all the doctors at Barcelona because he was recovering much faster than initially anticipated. Wojciech Szczesny, in an interview, he kind of let it slip that he believed that Lewandowski's injury was going to be actually much shorter because he was recovering at a much faster rate, which I'm not surprised. Yes, he might be 37 years old, but we're talking about someone who really takes care of himself and his body when it comes to dieting, exercise. You know, Lewandowski's wife is a nutritionist, and she really helps him with that. That's why he's at 37 years old competing at the highest level. So Lewandowski recovering much faster than initially anticipated. And well, lo and behold, today he was seen returning with the training with the group. Now, you might be wondering, Mo, when will Lewandowski return now that he's training with the group? Well, reports are saying that he could be back for this weekend against Elche. Barcelona are set to play against Elche this weekend, and it's expected that Lewandowski could be declared fit for Sunday's match, November 2nd, which, of course, as always, I'm going to be doing the the watch along, and after that, the post-match live analysis. So very, very exciting as we are going to get Lewandowski back. We'll see if he gets a few minutes against Elche or whether he's just going to be on the bench the whole time. But the good news is that Lewy is back. Again, hasn't received the green light yet, but is training with the group. Now, the other good news, the other good news, and this is also a big one, probably even bigger than the Lewandowski one, given that, Lewy it looks like this season he's going to be more of a rotational player rather than a starter. But even as a rotational player, 20 minutes of Lewandowski is still much better than 90 minutes of Ferran Torres, as we saw in the Clasico. But the other good news is in regards to Joan Garcia. And this is why I say this one is more important because, of course, Joan Garcia, not a rotational player, ladies and gentlemen. He is indeed a starter. But Joan Garcia is also nearing the end of his recovery. They're saying he could be back against Elche. It's not as likely as Lewy. Lewy is much more likely that he will be back against Elche. Joan Garcia, maybe. But if Joan Garcia does not make it back by Elche, he will be back for the Champions League clash against Club Brugge, and that's next Wednesday, November 5th. So we're going to get Lewy hopefully back by this Sunday, Joan Garcia either by this Sunday or next Wednesday. And again, this is huge because, of course, Joan Garcia, unlike Lewy, not a rotational player, very important player. And I got to say, I have missed him. Even though, don't get me wrong, Wojciech Szczesny had a really good match against Real Madrid in the Clasico, especially during the second half. Not only did he stop Mbappe's penalty kick, but also had pretty good saves. So I'm not trying to knock down Wojciech Szczesny, but of course, Joan Garcia, as we've seen, much better than Szczesny. Not just when it comes to stopping shots, but even at his passing with the ball at his feet, he's just on another level. So definitely missed Joan Garcia, and it's good to know that he's also nearing his return. See, that wasn't too bad. I told you I was going to start with bad news and then move on to good news quickly, and that's exactly what I did. I delivered on my promise. But anyways, let's start with the comment section, and then we are going to talk about the whole Lamine Yamal controversy because Ibai Llanos has come out, apologized, saying that it was his fault. Some other YouTubers have all been giving their opinions. It's been circulating in social media, and we have to talk about it. Why? Because it definitely did have an implication on the Clasico, and of course, we're going to talk about that implication as well. So, might as well discuss the whole thing. But let's start with the comment section. Let's see if I can put my glasses on with my headphones on. By the way, how do you guys like the sound? Let me know. I've been working really hard on improving the sound. I heard you guys' complaints. I went ahead and bought a new audio interface / mixer, which allows me to do cool things during the watch alongs. I'm gonna be able to play the match sound. I could do cool things like play. I don't know what that is, but I could do. Hey, whoa. Let's go. So, anyways, I hope the sound now sounds better. I've been working the whole weekend on improving the sound. I actually even reached out to the software provider that I use for streaming. I've been just working hard. So hopefully it's good now, and hopefully you guys like it. It's coming out good in my headphones, so hopefully it stays that way. But anyways, let's do the chat section. By the way, real quick story. Or actually, I'm going to say that before the second segment because I know there's a lot of people who skip the comment section and go straight into the news. But I do want to tell you this really cool story. Well, it's a cool story had I actually showed up. So now I'm kicking myself. But I'll tell you about it. But first, let's read Master Sparky or Shin or the other 20 different names that he's had. Thank you so much, my friend, for always supporting the channel with your incredible generosity. But Master Sparky says, hey, bro, heard today that Sky Sports France is reporting that Chelsea are looking to get Matt's on loan in January. Can't say I believe this, but what's Matt's recovery timeliness? Would it even be possible? So you did not hear wrong. That is true. It's Chelsea, Tottenham, Manchester United, Newcastle. all those 4 Premier League clubs are considering signing Ter Stegen on a loan. Man U are actually more considering a permanent deal. They're willing to fork out the money. The other ones, they're more considering like loan, which makes more sense. You know, he just came out of injury. Hey, let's bring him loan, half season, see how he performs. If he performs great, you fork out the money. If not, you send him home packing. So yes, that is true. Now, as far as timeliness, they're saying end of December. So he could be ready for the January winter transfer market, which of course would be a huge help, because if we can loan him, then we won't have a big of a problem registering Joan Garcia. Because remember, Joan Garcia is only registered in a place of Ter Stegen, kind of like what we did with Dani Olmo and Pau Victor when Christensen got injured last season. So if winter transfer market comes around, we haven't offloaded Ter Stegen, we're going to have to figure out how to register Joan Garcia. So if Ter Stegen leaves on loan during the winter, it will be beneficial for the club because we can register Joan Garcia no problem for the rest of the season. And it will be beneficial for Ter Stegen himself because, of course, he is looking to play the World Cup 2026. That's right around the corner. Pretty crazy, by the way. I feel like the Qatar World Cup was like 3 months ago. We're already talking about 2026 World Cup. Right around the corner. This is his first, probably even his last chance to start for Germany in a World Cup. So he's definitely going to want to take advantage of that situation. But anyways, thank you, my friend, for your donation. And let's do other comments. Jose Fernandez says, hey, Mo, the elbow Cubarsí received on the jaw for Madrid's second goal should have been a red and goal disallowed. The elbow prevented Cubarsí's upward movement to defend by heading the ball away. Yes, it could have been. It could have been. Even though there's also, of course, the argument that Cubarsí couldn't have really influenced much because the ball went over him anyway and it landed to Jude Bellingham. I think one that hasn't been talked about a lot is the penalty on Araujo. Remember, Araujo is running for the ball inside Real Madrid's box. Carvajal sees him, doesn't even look at the ball. The ball's in the air, doesn't even pay attention to the ball, doesn't see where the ball's coming from, where it's going, what's the trajectory, doesn't even care. His whole focus is Ronald Araujo. He's staring at Ronald Araujo. He charges at him full speed, and he goes and rams him with his shoulder and takes him down. That's a clear penalty. That's something, by the way, that Carvajal always does. Always does. Never gets punished for it. And that's a clear penalty because this is not like I'm running next to you and we're shoulder to shoulder and then, you go down because I'm just stronger or have better momentum. No. This is a guy who sees a player going into his area that could be potentially a dangerous play, and his only thought is, I'm going to go down there full speed and I'm going to take him down to the ground. I don't even care where the ball is or what's going to happen with the ball. My only thought is I'm going to take this guy down. That's a clear foul. That's a clear penalty kick. But Cesar Sotogrado, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, I don't want to talk about referees because, let's be honest, our performance was absolutely abysmal. So I'm not going to sit here and try to gaslight you and tell you, yeah, it was the refs, blah, blah, blah. It was not. We were shit, period. Stanley says, hey, Mo, finally again catching the live podcast. I just came back from vacation in Ibiza. All right, let's go. Hopefully the Clasico loss gives the team a wake-up call to put egos aside and bring back the team spirit. I hope so too, my friend. I hope you had fun on your trip. If you want to share some details, did you do anything particularly fun? Did you party a lot? Did you drink a lot? Did you do drugs? Well, actually, maybe not admit to the drugs, that could get you in trouble. But let us know if you want to share some details about how fun your trip was so we can all live vicariously through you. And Kill Bill Mad says, Lamine deserves the shit he gets now. He talked shit before the match and played like shit. His ego and overconfidence took a toll on his performance level. He acts like he is the GOAT. We'll talk about that. I don't think he's acting like he's the GOAT. He's an 18-year-old kid. Okay, we must understand that. He's an 18-year-old kid. We all thought we were the shit when we were 18 years old. And he is actually the shit. We're talking about at 18 years old, this is his third season at FC freaking Barcelona. How many of us can say that? None, right? At 18 years old, he has won the Copa Trophy twice and the Golden Boy Award, and he has finished second in the Ballon d'Or. At 18 years old, he has already won 5 trophies with FC Barcelona. At 18 years old, he's a freaking millionaire and one of the most known faces and names around the world. So of course he's gonna act the way he acts. Again, we were all AT. We all thought we were the shit when we weren't. We weren't shit, and he is the shit. So Mike Valencia says, I hate how the Kings League didn't protect Lamine. How the guy asked Lamine questions, wanted a viral response. We're also gonna talk about that because La Cobra, a YouTuber, addressed that, and his video is going viral. So I'm gonna react also to what La Cobra said. I'm gonna react to what Ibai Llano said, and gonna tell you my thoughts and opinions about the whole controversy thing in a little bit. Soiko says, what do you think about Carvajal's foul on Araujo? Is a penalty or not? Oh, so we were just talking about it. 100% penalty. That guy had no intention to dispute the ball. That guy had, and when I say that guy, I mean that idiot Carvajal. His only intention was to take down Ronald Araujo, period. Pedri. I guess he got a red card, so now he has more time, more free time on his hands. But Pedri says, Lamine Yamal at 17 had already achieved more than the grown man hated on him, 100%. Well, not even at 17, at freaking 16, he was already accomplishing more. I mean, when he was in La Masia, he had already accomplished more than all the haters that hate on him on Twitter and social media. And that's why they hate on him. Okay, let's be honest. That's why people hate on him. That's why people hate on anyone who's successful. Because they're unhappy with how their life has turned out. They're unhappy they have never achieved anything in their life. They're unhappy that they never achieved the goals that they set out, if they even had any, because some of these people that I see on social media, I'm like, you probably didn't even have goals to begin with. And of course, the only way they can feel somewhat better about themselves, because they're still pretty unhappy and miserable, is to try to bring others down. But that, at the end of the day, that speaks more about them than about the person that they're trying to take down. Faye says, hey, Mo, I think the problem was we never created enough chances and the front line was kind of dead. People say Fermin should pass, not shoot. The two chances that got straight to the goalkeeper, but they're wrong. One of them he should have. There was one where he takes the ball, runs half of the field. He's in the box. He has two people. I think it's Lamine on his right, and he has Rashford. Now, there are two defenders, one in front of him and one that's between him and the guy that was to his right. I think it was Lamine. And then you have Marcus Rashford on the left, completely by himself. That was a great time to pass it to Rashford, because Rashford had no one marking him. And we know Rashford has an incredible shot. So a pass to Rashford, and Rashford could have just blasted Courtois' net. So I don't think they're wrong. I think he should have passed it for sure. Paul Diaz says, hey, Mo, if your channel member does that mean you participate for both channel giveaways and regular subscription giveaways? Of course. I've been doing mostly giveaways for, well, not mostly, all my giveaways have been for just subscribers. This time, I want to thank the channel members by doing a giveaway for channel members only. I'm still going to do the subscribers giveaways, so that's not going to go away. Don't worry. This is just me, giving it back to the channel members who don't have to be channel members, right? All my content is free except for the MoCast now. But, there's absolutely no need for anyone to be a member. And yet these members decide to become a member and pay money that they've worked hard for every month when they don't have to. So this is my way of saying thank you for supporting the channel. RB with a donation from RB. Well, thank you, RB, for your donation. Did you mean to add a comment and you forgot? Or I know I did it one time or a couple of times when I was trying to donate to other channels where I set the donation without a comment. I was like, crap, that's not what I was trying to do. So if that's the case, please drop your comment. I'll make sure to read it. But if it's not the case, or either way, I should say, thank you so much for your donation and for your generosity. And with that, let's get back to the news, because we do have to talk about the Lamine Yamal controversy. Now, at this point, of course, we all know what happened with Lamine Yamal before a Clasico match. He was present at a Kings League show. If you don't know what the Kings League is, it's a football league made up of teams owned by YouTubers and influencers, right? This is an invention that Piqué had. Gerard Piqué invented the Kings League. He has his own team there. Lamine Yamal has his own team. And there's a bunch of other YouTubers who own their own teams. And it's different rules from regular football. I don't know them. I don't watch the Super League, and nor do I care about watching the Super League. But he was at a show at the a Kings League, not the Super League, at the Kings League. And said, jokingly, he was talking crap with Ibai Llanos. Ibai Llanos is a very famous YouTuber out of Spain, millions of subscribers. Ibai Llanos' team was facing off against Lamine Yamal's team. So they're, of course, talking crap back and forth. My team's better. No, my team's better. And then Lamine Yamal said, your team, Porcinos, that's the team that Ibai Llanos owns. Lamine said, Porcinos are like Real Madrid. They rob and they complain, right? Jokingly, talking crap, talking smack. And this, of course, was blown out of proportion. Every media outlet was reporting about it. It went viral on all social media platforms. And, of course, Madridistas all acting like, oh, my God, can't believe Lamine Yamal said that. Even though they literally say that every freaking day about Barcelona. Not to mention their own official television is always talking about how everything in Spain is corrupt and how all the referees are bought and how all the referees are out to get them. I mean, Real Madrid have personally joined the Negreira case against Barcelona, saying that Barcelona bribe referees. So they literally not only say that as fans, they say that that's their official stance as a club. But because Lamine Yamal said it, it was the end of the world, the most disrespectful thing ever. They can't believe it, blah, 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 blah. Now, fast forward until today, and Ibai Llanos, the guy who Lamine Yamal was talking to, has come out with an apology video. He posted an apology on his social media accounts explaining what happened. Ibai Llanos is the guy here to the left that you see on the screen, holding the Lamine Yamal kit. And, of course, Lamine is holding Ibai's jersey. So, Ibai Llanos explained that, hey, on the show, you can see Gerard Piqué in the background too, because, again, Gerard Piqué is the owner of the Kings League. But Ibai Llanos in his video explains that his team, Porcinos, was playing against Lamine Yamal's team, Capitanes, or I don't fucking know, nor do I care. And they were supposed to play on Sunday, but since Sunday was a Clasico match, Ibai Llanos asked the Kings League to move the match to Friday so more people can watch it, and invited Lamine Yamal, of course, to the show. Since their teams were playing against each other, they were talking crap back and forth. And then that's when Lamine Yamal says, Porcinos are like Real Madrid. They rob and they complain. And he was laughing about it. So this, of course, caused a lot of controversy, which has spilled over into El Clasico, which we got to talk about. So Ibai Llanos apologized, said, I'm so sorry. Like, all I was trying to do was just add some spice to the Kings League match. And, I'm never going to do that again, blah, blah, blah. It's my fault. So some people have gone out to, blame Ibai Llanos. Some people are blaming Lamine. He should have never said that, even if Ibai Llanos was trying to get it out of him. I don't know. I don't know how sincere Ibai Llanos' apology is, nor do I care. I mean, at the end of the day, if anything, it benefited him because now everybody's talking about the Kings League and everybody's talking about his team. So whether his apology was sincere or not, I don't know. Now, one of the people who came out to defend Lamine Yamal and say it was actually Ibai Llanos' fault was, of course, the YouTuber La Cobra. For those of you who don't know Spanish, La Cobra, Argentinian YouTuber, big Barcelona fan, millions of subscribers, really huge in the footballing world. And he did a clip on his stream that has gone viral. And in it, he's really upset. And he's talking about how if the Kings League want Lamine Yamal to continue, because Kings League, obviously, Kings League having Lamine Yamal is a huge boost for them, right? Because you're talking about one of the most, if not the most famous footballer right now to be associated with the Kings League. That's a huge boost for the Kings League in viewership, in marketing, in sponsorship, in everything, right? So La Cobras makes the argument that if the Kings League want to continue their association with Lamine Yamal, that they need to protect him, that there was no need to ask him about El Clasico match, that the Kings League program that Lamine was on was about the match between his team and Ibai Llanos' team. So the questions should have been completely about that match, about the Kings League. Hey, what do you think is going to happen in Kings League? Hey, what do you think is going to happen between our teams? And not to bring in anything about Real Madrid or even La Liga, because that's not what they're there for. And the point that La Cobra brings across is that it's Lamine Yamal. And anything that Lamine Yamal will say, is going to say from here until he retires, probably even later, is always going to be twisted. So La Cobra makes the argument that Kings League should have done a better job of protecting Lamine because they're the ones who got him into trouble by asking him that question, knowingly that anything Lamine Yamal says is going to go viral and is going to be dissected by 1 million people around the world. So what is my opinion? Is Ibai Llanos the one at fault here for bringing that topic up, even though he shouldn't have? Is it Lamine Yamal's fault for falling for Ibayanos' trap if that's what Ibayanos was trying to do? In my opinion, is neither. Whether the El Clasico match should have been brought up or not, I don't think it matters. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. At the end of the day, these are two guys whose teams are about to face off each other and they're just talking crap back and forth. So whatever was said on that program, I don't think it's anyone's fault. They're talking crap. It's a TV show where that's what they do. When there's two teams playing each other, the owners go on there and they talk crap. That's what the show is about. That's what the two of them are doing. So I don't think here Lamine is at fault. I don't think Ibayanos is at fault. Who is at fault? And it's something that a lot of people are completely glancing over because some are taking Ibayanos' side. Some people are taking Lamine Yamal's side. And I don't think anyone from any camp is addressing that core issue. And it's not Ibayanos, it's not Lamine, it's the Real Madrid locker room's reaction to begin with. Because we're talking about, again, two guys talking smack back and forth. A Madridista, Ibayanos is a Madridista, and a culé, Lamine Yamal. Two guys, a Madridista and a culé, who are friends, who are talking, and they're talking shit to each other back and forth. And then we have a locker room full of grown-ass men, professional players, making millions of dollars who take the statements of two guys talking shit back and forth to heart. And I know they took that to heart because after the match, we saw Carvajal do this to Lamine Yamal like you talk too much. We saw Vinicius Jr. do this to Lamine Yamal like you talk too much. We saw a fight start on the sideline. There was even talks about someone, Frankie, I think, said someone charged at Lamine. I don't know if it was Vinny or someone. So we're talking about a locker room that has a complex because that's what it is. It's a complex. The whole you rob, no you rob is the oldest statement in the world. All Madridistas say that Barcelona rob, and they've always said that. And every Barcelonista has always said that that Madrid rob. That and every other team in La Liga say that both Barcelona and Madrid rob. And if you go to the Premier League, the fans of Man City will say that Man U robs, and the fans of Man U will say that Man City robs. That's what fans have been saying about the opposing teams for the entire history of the freaking sport. So why is this such a big deal to these grown-ass men in the Real Madrid locker room? And the only explanation is that they have a serious complex, a Barcelona complex, where they take the statements of an 18-year-old kid talking shit to his friend to heart, to the point where the police, the Spanish police, had to intervene because these idiots, these supposed grown men, are taking the statements of an 18-year-old to heart. And Carvajal, by the way, the biggest idiot of them all, because how old is this motherfucker? 34 years old, acting like a dumbass 15-year-old in high school. The guy who was supposed to, his job was supposed to sit Lamine Yamal down and talk to him, because as the captain of the Spanish team, he thought that Lamine Yamal's statements were going to break the unity of the Spanish team. So tell me, Carvajal, you big moron, how is going up to Lamine Yamal after he has lost a match, after he has spent 90 minutes on the field with all Real Madrid fans, giving him the finger, insulting him, and whistling on him, how is after all that you go up to him and doing this going to help with the unity of the Spanish national team? You big dumb motherfucker. Please explain that to me. Because if you were truly concerned about the Spanish national team's unity, you would have sat the guy down and said, hey, man, even though it's not your fucking job, because who the fuck are you? Hey, bro, don't do that. Don't say those things, even if you don't mean them. It's only going to get you in trouble. It's only going to get you in the media spotlight. You don't want that. Just focus on playing. Forget what these fans are saying to you. Forget about the whistling. Look, it is what it is. Just play football and forget everything else. That would have made a lot more sense from a supposed grown-ass man, from a supposed captain who is this big, dumb motherfucker named Carvajal. But instead, he goes up to Lamine after Lamine has lost, after he has endured 90 minutes of abuse from the fans, and he does this to an 18-year-old. To an 18-year-old, as a 34-year-old. I can never, ever fathom me going up to an 18-year-old kid and talk his shit to him. But this is the kind of idiotic, moronic, Madridista behavior that everybody seems to be glancing over. It's not about Ibayanos. It's not about Lamine. It's about a locker room full of idiots who have a big, big complex because they cannot withstand the fact that 4 matches in a row, they were spanked by Barcelona and by a 17-year-old, because at the point, Lamine Yamal was 17 years old. So they go and take the statements of an 18-year-old to heart, to the point where they get into a fight and they need the police to break that fight. And that's what I think about this whole thing. If I take anything out of this whole controversy, is that I believe now more and more that to be a Madridista, you have to be a world certified moron. Period. Can you imagine an 18-year-old talking shit to you and you starting a fight with him because he said something that hurt your feelings? Are you fucking kidding me? Pathetic. That's all I can say. Anyways, let's get back to the comment section. And then we are going to talk about John Laporta, the Barcelona president. Bad Boy says the sound is better, a lot less static. All right. And for that, we're going to celebrate with... All right, that's enough. Let's see. Costa says, love the soundboard. Oh, check this out.
Thank you.
I still gotta keep programming this. There's so many filters, so many things to do. It's a pretty cool thing. What is this? Oh, now I can use that for my lame jokes. All right, Suleiman says, hello, Mo. The sound has definitely improved. Well done. I think we need to get back to playing together as a team and deal with every single team before us. The season progressed. Visca Barça. Visca Barça, my friend. Thank you for your comment. And Edward says, Mo, I had this idea, the way they double up on Lamine. What do you think of Rooney playing in a formation that has him playing in front of Lamine and Lamine behind, like 3-4-2-1? I mean, look, we are already playing with a high line, and we already, advance our lines so much where we attack with our entire team. I don't know if the solution to that would be to take off a center back. I mean, we technically play with 2 center backs. If you think about 2 defenders, not 2 center backs. Obviously, 2 center backs. Everybody plays with 2 center backs. But we technically play with 2 defenders because our left backs or full backs, they are so way down the field. Like whether it's Kunde, who's been absolutely garbage. I don't even want to think about this name because I'll get fucking mad. Or Balde. I mean, they are pretty much attackers, right? They are more wing backs than full backs. So we technically only have our 2 center backs holding down the defense by themselves. And you want to take one of those guys away, I don't know if that would be the best idea. And Chamod says... No, he didn't say anything. Sorry. He just became a member. Thank you, Chamod, for becoming a member. As a member, you will now be entered... Well, go to the community tab. There's a post there that's only visible to channel members. And on that post are the instructions of how you will be entered into the Barcelona kit raffle, which will be held on Saturday during the Mocast. I will be picking the winner live. I'll be sharing my screen, total transparency, so you can see that, I'm not full of crap. And you can join the Discord. Almost forgot. Master Sparky with another generous donation says, I think our whole issue as a team boils down to culture. Last year, we played an intense and like world beaters nearly every game. So far this season, not at all. If the team culture isn't fixed, we will win absolutely nothing. I 100% agree with you, my friend. I think this is clearly an attitude problem, right? This is the same team, same coach, same system, same everything. I mean, the only difference is what Pau Victor is gone, and he never played, so that's like no difference at all. And we signed Juan Garcia and Rooney Bardghji. That's probably the only difference really is Juan Garcia, right? Because we changed goalkeepers. But it's the same team, same players, same coach, same everything. The difference is a lot of these players are just not up to the same standards as last season. Jules Koundé. The guy's out there on a picnic every match. It's like the only thing missing is his basket of baguettes and cured meats. And might as well just set up a blanket on the grass and on the pitch and just enjoy your picnic and he's not the only one, but for now, I'm just gonna point him out because he's been pissing me off. But yeah, it's a big problem it's a big attitude problem. I no longer see a team. Last season we played as a team, we lost as a team. We won as a team, and this season I'm just seeing 11 individual players each fighting their own battle. And yeah, it's a big problem. So unless these players get their act together, it's not looking good. And Edwin with the donation. Thank you, Edwin, who says, I never thought as a kid could rattle a club like that. Madrid is softer than charming, and not just one player, the entire club from top to bottom. 100%, my friend. I agree with you. This is, I think, what a lot of people are glancing like, oh, it's Ibayano's fault. No, it's Lamine. It's like, no, it's none. It's the fact that you have a club that calls themselves the greatest club on earth, God's given gift to earth, and they get rattled by an 18-year-old talking shit to his friend. I mean, how are you the greatest club on earth when you get your whole institution gets rocked by an 18-year-old saying 3-4 words? That tells me that you're not. That you're a small club with a big, major, huge Barcelona complex. That's what Real Madrid are. But thank you, my friend, for your donation. And Sanjog also with the donation. By the way, Sanjog, I'm so sorry, my friend. I totally realized after I finished the post-match live analysis yesterday, I didn't even read any comments yesterday because I was just done with the Clasico. I was like, man, these fucking players. So I just did the post-match live analysis and I ended. I didn't read any comments. It wasn't until after I ended that I noticed that you had made a donation. So thank you, my friend, for your donation. I'm sorry I couldn't read your comment. And thank you for this donation. And this time, I will read your comment that says, I usually don't care what players do outside of football, but Lamine post-injury isn't the same. He's hardly dribbling past players like he used to, and it's natural to suspect he's distracted. I mean, it could be distraction, or it could be, like you said, the fact that he just came back from injury, right? Sorry, I gotta grab a drink because my throat is getting really dry. Right? It could be, or it could be the fact that he came back from injury, you know? He had double injury, not just one. So it is natural to take some time. You know, all players, when they come back from injury, it takes them some time, right? This is why you have preseasons, because when players take 2-3 weeks off, that's how long summer vacations are for players, 3 weeks. They come back and it's like, it's the same player, but all of a sudden they need the preseason to start getting back into competitive rhythm. And even with the preseason, when the season begins, usually the first match or two, the team is still like a little rusty. You need to shake that rust off. So it's the same with injury, right? You're not playing. Those 2-3 weeks that you're out, you're not playing. It's like taking a vacation. So you need to shake that rust off, and it takes some time. So it could be that, or it could be he's distracted. I don't know. But, you know, he's only played 3 matches since he come back from injury, and they all happen in a matter of 1 week. So now, if it continues, then obviously, yeah, something's wrong there. But I don't know if I could for sure say, hey, it is because he's distracted when he's only had these 3 matches since his return of injury. Okay, now I feel better. All right, let's get back to the news. Because we do have to talk about John Laporta in the aftermath of El Clasico match. And as I promised, I have a story for you. And the reason I'm saying it now, because I know a lot of people skip the comment section, so I kind of wanted to share the story with everyone who's going to be watching, even those who skip the comment section. And if you don't, you can still skip, I guess. But Sunday, the Clasico match, as you know, I did the watch along. My friend, who is a Peña member. If you don't know what a Peña is, it's a fan club recognized by FC Barcelona. It's an official fan club. I'm a member of the New York City Peña, and the New York City Peña watches the matches at a bar called Smithfield Hall in New York City, in Manhattan. And he asked me the night before. He said, "Hey Mo, are you coming?" And I said, "No, because I gotta do the watch along." And he said, "No, trust me, you need to come." And I said, "I don't know, man. I gotta do the watch along." He's like, "Trust me, you need to come." So I was like, "All right, cool, I'll go." So I started Googling how to do, a live stream in a bar, right? Because I don't have my setup. I'd have to take a camera with me, but my camera doesn't really connect to the internet. So I would have to try to figure out how to connect the camera to the phone, and then the phone, how to, stream from the phone, how to get comments on the phone, how to, it's all. Finally, after like spending hours on the internet trying to figure out how to do this, I realized, you know what? This is too much work. I'm just going to do the watch along at home and F it. Well, lo and behold, my friend sends me a picture on the day of the match. And guess who's at the bar? Guess who's at Smithfield Hall in New York City watching the game with the Peña? Carlos freaking Puyol and Ed Sheeran. Carlos Puyol and Ed Sheeran went to the Peña bar in New York City to watch the match, and I freaking missed it. And I'm so upset at myself. Not so much because Ed Sheeran, he's a cool singer and has good vocals. I'm not the biggest fan. But Carlos Puyol, guys. Carlos Puyol. I should have listened to him. I should have figured it out. Just went to the bar and streamed from the bar. But yeah, I'm kicking myself for not listening to him. Next time, I will definitely listen to him. But with that, let's get back to Mamma mia. Anyways, let's get back to the news and let's talk about Jan Laporta, because in the aftermath of El Clasico match, Jan Laporta has reportedly visited the team at the Ciudad Esportiva during today's training. Now, usually after a match, the team does a recovery session. It's not the same as a regular training session, right? It's specific exercises, stretching, weights, blah, 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 to help the body recover, as the name indicates, recovery session. And during the recovery session, Jan Laporta visited the locker room in order to deliver a message to the players and to Hansi Flick. And the message was as follows. Now, they say the message was very short, but was very, passionate. As we know, if one thing Jan Laporta has is charisma, he knows how to, how to inspire. Let's put it that way. But it was a pretty short message, but very inspirational message from Jan Laporta to the team. And the message was as follows: that the season is long and that one setback should not affect the season. And with that, I do agree. So I do agree because, as I've said before, I said this during the post-match live analysis when it began. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, the season's over. That's it. We're not going to win, blah, 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 blah." And I said, what are you guys talking about? That was what, the 9th or 10th fixture? There are 28 other matches left. This is far, far, far from over. If this was the return match in May or end of April, whenever the return match is, and we're back behind 5 points, I'll be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We're behind 5 points. There's not a lot of matches left. Okay, yeah, we're in trouble. We can still win, but we're in deep trouble. But now when you tell me when you have 28 or 29 matches left that we're somehow in trouble and the season's over and we're not going to win anything, far, far from it. I mean, Real Madrid were at 10 or 11 points ahead of us at some point last season, and we still ended up winning the season. So to pretend that somehow this loss, and because we're now behind Real Madrid 5 points, is the end of the season, that's far, far from it. I think that's a little bit nihilistic. Now, if the team don't get their act together and they don't start playing as a team and like how they were playing last season, yeah, the season could end up being over. But it's not because we lost to Real Madrid on Sunday. It's because if they don't turn things around, they're going to continue losing and they're going to continue dropping points. But it's not going to be because, we lost yesterday. That's far, far from it. So I 100% agree with Jan Laporta's statement there. But that wasn't all, of course. His message also, in his message, he emphasized unity, he emphasized belief, and he emphasized the importance of bouncing back, which, again, I agree with all of that. I think unity has to be the message here. And I don't mean, oh, let's come together in the difficult times. No, I mean, let's get our shit together and start playing as a team, because this team is not playing as a team. This is like prime shabby ball. 11 individual players, each fighting their own battle. Same under Koeman, same under Valverde, except we have the blessing of having Messi, who could just, in 1-2 plays, he can turn things around for us. But that can't happen because, like I've said many times before, this team is good, but they're not that good. They're not that good to where you can have 11 individual players just doing their own thing and still win. I mean, maybe some, but not all the time. And if this team wants to be a champion like they were last season, they need to come back together. And finally, John Laporta told the players and Flick that he had maximum confidence in them. So, and that was about it. Now, I do want to ask you guys this, because I agree 100% with everything John Laporta had to say to the team and the players. My question is this. Do you agree with John Laporta entering the locker room and delivering this message? Because on one hand, I agree, again, with everything he had to say. I think that's a message that the players need to understand. That yes, the season's long. It's not over. But they need to bounce back. They need to come together and they need to believe, just like Laporta believes in them. And that's important, right? Because yes, it is true the season's not long, but if it's long and they can still revert the situation. But if they don't bounce back, wow, that's going to continue the same, dropping points. So I agree 100%. On one hand, I agree 100% with John Laporta's statements. But on the other hand, Johan Cruyff, the father of Barca DNA, that we like to call Barca DNA, always emphasized the need of separating the locker room from the president and the club's administration. And Johan Cruyff always said that a coach should never let the president into the locker room. That if the president had anything to say to the players or had any suggestions or whatever, he should go directly to the coach, to his office, and then the coach can deliver that message to the player. And that was very important for the coach to set those boundaries. And in fact, last season, I always talked, not last season, the season before that, I always talked about how one of Xabi's biggest mistakes was to let Laporta and Deco into his locker room. You know, we saw Laporta used to walk into the locker room all the time and give speeches to the players. Deco used to go and watch the practices. And I always said that was a big, big mistake from Xabi, because you have to be able to be the maximum authority in your locker room. This is my locker room. These are my players. They do what I say. If you have something to say to me, you say it to me in my office, and I'll deliver your message if I think it's fit. So my question to you is, do you think it was a proper thing for Laporta to go visit the players in the locker room and give that message, or not? Let me know in the chat section. I'm not choosing sides. I just want to hear your thoughts and opinions. All right, let's get back to the comment section. And then we are going to talk about an Arsenal legend and his statements. All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? Ooh, I love it. The chat section is full of chats. Hence the name. Chat section. Oh. Wait. Lame joke. Hey. Okay, let's see. George says, Mo playing with his new toy. I like how you're always looking to improve your content. Well, thank you, my friend. You know, it was starting to be a big problem, because I can hear all the fluttering and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, I try to fix everything. I changed the cables. I downloaded new drivers on my audio interface. I even bought this piece that supposedly takes any interference. Very expensive piece of hardware. And I spent countless hours reading articles, watching YouTube videos, and I just could not figure out what the hell was going on. So finally, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna buy a new interface. It was pretty expensive. Audio equipment is very expensive. I don't know why, but I think it's worth it. Not worth it. And I think in the long run, it's gonna pay for itself, because, you know, studies show time and time again that people will tolerate bad video quality, but they will not tolerate bad audio quality when it comes to YouTube videos. And that makes sense, right? Video, I mean, it's just my face. Whether you see my face clearly or it's blurred, who gives a shit? It's my face. Who wants to look at my face besides my mom? But you know, the audio, I mean, that's the whole content, right? It's what I'm saying. And if you can't hear the audio, you can't hear the content. If there's no content, then what are we doing here? So I think it's worth it. Plus, I really think it's gonna make my my watch-alongs a lot more fun because thanks to this new mixer, I'm gonna be able to do this. Wait, is this? Hold on. Let me see. I don't know why this is giving me so much hard time. Let's see. All right, here we go. I'm gonna be able to do. I know you can hear my keyboard in the background going, taka, 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 taka. And it's probably not too fun. Come on. All right, check this out. Check this out. Check this out. This is gonna be the best part about my new mixer. Nope. Go back. Wow. This is worst fucking website ever. Worst fucking website ever. If you're wondering what website I'm talking about, is ESPN Plus. But this is the cool thing that I'm gonna be able to do on my new during my watch alongs, which is one of the main reasons why I bought this mixer to begin with, besides improving the in-game. You guys hear that?
In his career against Barcelona.
You'll be able to hear the match in the background. Uh-huh. I think that's gonna improve a lot the watch-alongs. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me see. Glenn says, sometimes I disagree with you, but your reasoning right there is why you will become the biggest Barca YouTuber at the end of 2026. Great job. Well, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. I mean, that's not my aim or goal to become the biggest YouTuber. You know, I just want to do what I do what I love the most, which is just talk about Barca and share my passion and love with you guys. And as long as I have that, I'm a happy man, whether I have 10 million subscribers or 10 subscribers. Marcus says, hey, Mo, honestly, my expectations were high as it relates to Barca winning Real, but again, it's okay. I just believe that we have achieved in a short period of time, and Barca is now the most feared team. I believed that if Barca did their job, that we could have won. And I still believe that after watching that match, because at no point during that match did I look at Real Madrid and think, wow, this is an incredible team and there's absolutely nothing we could do about it. In previous seasons, I used to look at Real Madrid and not necessarily think, wow, they're great, but look and be like, okay, yeah, there's nothing we can do. There's no way we can beat this team because our team is so shit. And that wasn't the case yesterday. At no point did I look at Real Madrid and think, wow, this team is just, you can't beat them. There's nothing we can do. Not at all. I still thought it was the same mediocre Real Madrid as always. But of course, they were at least a team. They were mediocre as a team. Versus Barcelona, where 11 individual players, each fighting their own battle. And even though Madrid was mediocre, they were a team. And a team is always going to be 11 individuals, no matter how good those individuals are individually. If Barcelona had played like they know how to play, like we know they know how to play, I think we win yesterday's match easily. I mean, remember, Barcelona played like shit, like absolute shit yesterday. And despite that, the match ended with all 11 Real Madrid players defending in their box, begging the referee to blow the whistle, wasting time, starting fights on the sideline. I mean, that's how mediocre Real Madrid is. If they were a good team, if they really were a good team, yesterday's match ends 5-0. But instead, it ends 2-1 with Real Madrid begging the referee to blow the whistle because they are a mediocre team. So this is why I think this situation is reversible, because A, we know how Barcelona can play when the players want to, and B, because this Madrid does not scare me one bit. They spent so much money on players like Álvaro Carreras and Mastantuono and blah, 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 and Mbappe, even though it was free signing, but nothing is really free. I'm sure they paid him a crap load of money in a signing bonus and his salary. and they bring Xabi Alonso and all this crap, and I don't see it. I don't see it. Let's see. Master Sparky says, I have no issue with him going in the locker room if and only it's a positive message to lift the team. Okay, fair enough. West Spring says, hey Mo, when Laporta gets caught for all of his shady business practices, what do you think will be the implication aftermath will be for the club? More negative type press for the club? I think it depends. It depends on whether it affected the club or, like, for example, Bartomeu doesn't really get that much media coverage in the whole Madrid circles because, yeah, he did a lot of shady stuff, but at the end of the day, he only hurt Barcelona, right? So they don't care about it as much. So it just depends on what would be the things that he did. Edward says, wow, Mo, Carlos Puyol is one of my all favorite time players. He looks like a 16th century Medici prince, and he carried himself like a prince on and off the field. Remember how he behaved when Ramos went ape in that long ago Clasico. Yeah, well, 100%. I think Carlos Puyol will be our forever captain. How a true captain reacts. Not like that clown Carvajal who was going to bring back the Spanish unity by starting a fight with Lamine Yamal. Wait. I don't have to do it because... Bravo, Carvajal, on bringing back Spanish unity. You big dumb motherfucker. Master Sparky says we would have lived without one live stream. You should have went. Well, that's the thing. I didn't even know that they were going to be there, right? Because it was a surprise. Nobody knew besides the board, the Peña board, which my friend is on. So nobody knew that. So he didn't want to tell me. So he just kept saying, you need to go. You need to go. But he wouldn't tell me why. Had I known, I'd be like, sorry, guys. No stream today. It's Carlos Puyol. I mean, can you blame me? Ross says, at 18, I trained with Vitor Belfort for 2 months, thinking I can beat up anyone, including God. Also, Mo, good news sounds, good vibes among good colleagues. Well, thank you, my friend. It's always good to see you in the chat section. I hope you're feeling well. And with that, let's get back to the news, and then we'll do more comments, I promise. But let's do the last bit of news. That's not what I was trying to do. Because I said we're going to talk about an Arsenal legend. Well, we are going to talk about Arsenal legend, but no other than Arsene Wegner. I can't fucking say it. I can't speak French to save my own life. But anyways, this is what Arsene had to say about El Clasico match, and I'll tell you why I'm sharing his statements. But Arsene said El Clasico was a bit like a duel of men against boys. Real Madrid's defense was much stronger than Barcelona's. In attack, Madrid always looked capable of scoring, while Barcelona seemed ineffective. They had a lot of possession, but they never really looked capable of scoring. So this is Arsene's statements, and you might be wondering, well, why do we care? Well, we care because he is a football legend. He's an Arsenal legend. He's a great coach, one of the best coaches of his era. So I think, it's always good to listen to those, to the experts in the sport, right? To those who know. After all, I'm just a random guy on YouTube. But Arsene, the real deal. So I bring up his statements because, of course, I do agree with this, right? We did have possession all of the second half. But it was possession for the sake of possession. And possession for the sake of possession is not possession at all. Because what's the point of having the ball if you're not going to do anything with the ball, right? This is not a sport where the winner is determined by who holds the ball on for the longest time. It's who scores more goals. So if you're just going to have a possession for the sake of possession, you're not going to do anything with the ball, then might as well not have it, because the whole point of having possession is so you can constantly attack, create chances, and score as many goals as you can, or at least under the Barca DNA. That's what the possession is for. Plus, that's the best defensive weapon, right? Because if you have the ball, while the other team doesn't have it, if the other team doesn't have it, they cannot attack and score. But if you're only going to have the ball to pass the ball side to side and do back passes, then it's absolutely pointless. And that's something that the team is going to have to work on. And the reason why we're having possession for the sake of possession or ineffective possession was because the players were all static. And again, that goes back to the same problem where we have a team problem, where this team is not playing as a team, where these players are not playing with the intensity that they're supposed to be playing. And as a result, you have all these static players we're just not doing anything. I mean, I pointed it out like a million times during the watch. I'm like, look, someone would have the ball, Frankie or Pedri or someone would have the ball, and everybody's just standing. Marcus Rashford just standing there. Ferran standing there. Lamine standing there. Everybody standing next to the Real Madrid defensive line. It's like a line of Real Madrid defenders and Barcelona players. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Are you like setting up the offside trap, but on the other side? And it's like, this can't happen. This cannot happen. Spaces are not going to generate themselves. Chances are not going to generate themselves. And if we have the ball, we got to do something with it. And that includes getting open, making runs, running your routes that you practice during training. So the guy who has the ball can do something with it and create a shot. Otherwise, it's going to be the same crap over and over again. You know, right? And this is the other side of the coin. Because when we don't have the ball, we need to be trying to get back the ball. But once you get it back, you need to do something with it. And being static, that ain't it. Anyways, I just wanted to share those statements with you because, again, I agree with them. And not only that, they're coming from Arsene. So I think he knows a thing or two about football. Wouldn't you guys agree? Anyways, let's get back to the chat section. And let's look at another donation. This one is from Sanjok. Thank you so much, my friend, for your generosity. But Sanjok says, I didn't even know Ferran played yesterday, but I don't think it was all on Ferran. We were not able to provide him good balls after watching the match. Alemani would have gotten us a striker in January. Yeah, really bad match by Ferran, but like you said, I can't really blame him. I think it was a group effort. I think besides maybe Pedri, who was trying it all, Fermin at some points, Araujo, by the way, I might have not mentioned this during the post-match live analysis because I was upset, but I thought Araujo had really good minutes when he came on. I mean, I was a really good match by Araujo. But, you know, besides those Cubarsí, even Casado when he came in, besides that, everyone else was just shit. Balde was completely disconnected from the match. Koundé has been the same shitty player this whole season. Frankie tried, but honestly, without the players getting open, there wasn't much he could do. Lamine, Ferran, Rashford were just completely non-existent and ineffective. It was just a bad match. Really bad match. And it's disappointing because we know what this team is capable of. You know, it's one thing is to say, okay, my team cannot compete. It sucks, but it is what it is. What can we do? But a whole other thing is to know, hey, this is the same team that scored 16 goals against Madrid. And they can't even score like one more so we can at least draw. It's just very disappointing. But thank you, my friend, for your donation. And Master Sparky says, if you could find a way to mute commentary during matches and have field sounds, that would be great. I personally don't need ESPN morals on surround sound, just saying. Good point. I kind of do like, not the ESPN morons, but, you know, oh, wait, I see what you're saying, which is what I was about to say. So, yeah. So just the matches sound with no commentary. So just like the crowds and that's actually good. Good point. That would be cool. Just like the crowd and the referee whistling and maybe the players cursing at each other. But I don't know how I would do that. But that would be cool. No commentary, just sound from the match. I like that. James says, out coach. I don't think we were out coached. That's the thing. Real Madrid didn't really do anything different besides press a little bit higher. But that's it. It was the same Madrid as always. Just sit back, wait for the mistakes, and then exploit the mistakes with Mbappe or Vini. I don't know how much out coaching that is. Like I said, I think Barcelona lost not because of Madrid did a good job, but because Barcelona did a bad job. So this wasn't so much Real Madrid's merit as Barca's demerit, if that makes sense. Valeriano says, Mo, do you think Flick will stay next season if we don't win La Liga or Champions League? I think he's renewed till 2027, right? Am I misremembering? So I think he would. But I don't know. James and Master Sparky both agreeing that I should have the Spanish broadcasters. That's actually a good idea. But It'll be a good idea because you wouldn't understand what they're saying, but they're actually worse than the English ones. I know because I've watched it in both. Um, the Spanish, the Spanish broadcasters on ESPN Plus. I mean, might as well just wear a Real Madrid kit. I mean, the whole match, and it's been a while since I started doing the watch-alongs. I don't hear what they say, but every match it was like everything that Barcelona would do, they would find something wrong with it. It's like they would score 5 goals and they'd be like, wow, they should have scored 6. This team sucks. They're actually way worse than the English ones. But I guess since you guys would understand what they're saying, so maybe it would be good, but I actually hate them more. Especially Mario Kempes. This guy who won the World Cup with Argentina in the 70s. And I think he still thinks he's relevant. He's not. It's like, bro, nobody knows who you are. He's always talking shit. And he has the most annoying fucking voice. And I'm just like, if I ever meet this guy, I'm going to punch him right in the throat. No, but he's old. I won't. I'm just kidding. Meliodas. Mo, what do you think of Xabi Espart? Do you think he could maybe bench Koundé for a while? Because I really did not enjoy Koundé's performance this season. I'm very aware of our financial situation. I mean, I don't know if he's ready. Maybe, honestly, I would bench Koundé, put in Eric Garcia in his place, and have Cubarsí and Christensen or Cubarsí and Araujo. Or Cubarsí and the Waterboy, someone. But get Koundé off the field. And then, if Xabi Espart is convincing Flick, maybe give him some more minutes but put Koundé on the bench until he shows you he actually wants to play and not just jog around like he's out on a picnic in freaking Champs-Élysées. Joshua says it's the fact that Madrid didn't play well and won yesterday, not take the win away from them, but they won and that it. Plus, Carvajal is not acting as a veteran at all. We meet again next year. Yeah, no, Carvajal is a fucking idiot. By the way, he's injured for 3 months. He literally just came back from injury, played 5 minutes, and now he's injured again. It's like, I don't know. I guess karma? Maybe. Let's see. What else? Katana Glory says Real Madrid is not good. It's just Barcelona. It's not in its peak. 100%. Again, I believe if Barcelona had played like they know how to play, I think we win yesterday easily. And then he says to all the Barca fans saying Lamine should be humble. I hope you're watching how the humble Pedri is being treated. Yeah, it doesn't matter if, look, Lionel Messi is probably the humblest guy in football back when he was at Barca. The guy didn't say anything. Maybe the only thing controversial he ever did was when he walked up to the Bernabeu with his jersey like this, showing them their name. But besides that, the guy never spoke to the press, never gave press conferences, never partied, never went out, never got caught doing anything. I mean, this guy was like a choir boy. Just had his wife, his kids, no controversies, no girlfriends, no partying, nothing. He just home, training field, home. Or home, stadium, home. That's it. The guy never did anything. And still, he's one of the most hated players in the world. It's just like how it goes. Jealousy is a real thing, guys. It doesn't matter how humble or unhumble you are. The more successful you are, the more people will hate you. It's just the sad reality of the human race. Anyways. But I would say this. If I was like, I'm no one to give Lamine Yamal advice because no one to him. But if I was Lamine's friend or Lamine's family member or brother or whatever, I would say, stay out of the limelight. He's still going to be in the limelight because he's destined to be the best player of his generation. Forget the comments. Forget the press. Just play. And that's it. Kind of like what Messi used to do. Just not say anything, not talk to anyone. Just play. Have a personal life. If you are on the street and the reporters come to you, whatever, just ignore them. If you have social media, stay off of it. I mean, you still need the social media, obviously, because they make a lot of money from it, from sponsorships, shit. Just give your social media to professionals. Let them handle it. Let them do all the posting. Stay away from it. And just focus on football and focus on living your life, right? Because there's people who are like, football, no girlfriend. That's fucking unrealistic. He's a human being. Humans are social animals. We need to be with friends and family and have a girlfriend and whatever. Just live your life, personal life, play football. Forget about the rest. Forget the press. Don't talk to them. Don't make statements. Don't make controversial social media posts. Just hand over your social media to the professionals. Let them handle it. And just stay out of it. Like, you're going to be in a spotlight regardless. So why add to it? Why add more fuel to the fire? Let them say whatever the fuck they want to say, but don't give them motive to say whatever the fuck they want to say. Mr. Steele says, what an absolute shame. These players have become too damn lazy. Real Madrid look hungry. What an absolute joke. Real Madrid, the club who have had to splash millions to compete against academy players. I agree with your sentiment, my friend. Zach says they just criticize Barca for the sake of criticizing. Man City plays with a higher line than ours, yet no one bats an eye. Yeah, like I said, they have a complex, and a serious one. It's called the Barcelona complex. This is why the statements of an 18-year-old talking shit to his friend rattled an entire institution, because they have a complex. An inferiority complex, that is, of course. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, your incredibly generous donations. I don't know if I'm going to be doing another video. I might. I'm going to see what else is out there to talk about. If there is, I'll post it. If not, I'll probably go to sleep. I'm really tired. But thank you, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Viscarsa.